Hey skiers, it's Bob with SkiEssentials.com. Welcome to our 2024 ski test. We got a Headcourt 93 for you today. Feels like we've been talking about this ski for a while now. It did get some structural changes for last year, and those carry through to this year. We do get a new top sheet graphic, so just a slight change in cosmetics, but this thing remains the same light, stiff, fun, versatile all-mountain ski that we've loved for a while. I picked up a pair for me personally last year and just had a blast. For me and kind of what I use a ski for on my non-work days, it's a pretty unique blend of skiing with kids, who are getting good now. So now I need something a little bit more performance oriented, but I also don't want to go too heavy. So having the lightweight of the Core 93 as well as that higher end performance makes a lot of sense for someone like myself. And then when we get into kind of the intended audience of this ski later, I can talk a little bit more about how this benefits me specifically as a heavier skier. But construction wise, same build. Karuba and Poplar in the wood core, two pretty lightweight woods that have good energy to them. And then they add two carbon laminates to the mix. So the first carbon layer is on the bottom, right above the base, below the core. That is flat. And then the second layer is on top, and that is curved to match the chamfer of the ski. We can kind of see that there's a slight cap construction, I would say. So that sidewall is on the thinner side, and then the cap maybe is about, 15 to 20% of the top of the ski, and that's the curvature of the carbon. And anytime that you're bending carbon or other materials, putting them in a three-dimensional format, you're really boosting the performance properties. In the case of carbon, you're making it stiffer. So these skis just happen to be incredibly stiff. They also add graphene to the mix, so that central strip of graphene just adds to that lightweight and stiff flex property that makes these skis stand out amongst anything else really out there today. So pretty unique blend of technology that goes into these skis. They also have a dampening layer in them to go along with that newer top sheet style. That takes the chatter down quite a bit, makes these things a little bit quieter. That's kind of a knock against carbon-powered skis, is that they just have a ping to them. So anything that they can do to kind of knock that down a little bit, I think is super helpful. I've never personally had much of a problem because I'm a little bit heavier and I can bend them. It's really when you're not in a pure carve that you can feel that chatter kind of come through. But that's what you're going to get with something that's so light. It's basically impossible to make something this light that actually is as stable as something with two sheets of metal in it. This is the 177. We're on the scale at 1,714 grams. So pretty light, extremely maneuverable, and just a ton of fun, especially if you're able to kind of get this thing up on a higher edge angle, especially on trail. I didn't have any trouble really in the woods, certainly not as playful as a more flexible twin tip, but certainly is more than manageable because of the light weight. I found that the kind of flatter camber was helpful. If you put more camber into the ski, you're pushing down more on the tips and tails, and given the stiffness, that would be a little bit prohibitive for more playful and maneuverable skiing. So I think that keeping it at a pretty flat camber underfoot is pretty important. And then not a ton of rocker. I certainly wouldn't say that the rocker is one of the outstanding characteristics of this ski. A little bit spoonier of a tip shape than we see in the 87, but once we get to 99, 105, and so on, that spooniness and the taper get more pronounced. So they're still keeping the on-trail and front side capabilities intact. And then we get some nice splay in the back here. It's certainly beneficial to have this slightly rounder, slightly more tapered tail shape in this ski because of that stiffness. If you picture it the opposite way, squared off, taper free, then it would be just outright demanding. And so having this shape brings it more to the friendly side of the spectrum. really increases the versatility. And again, it's not like it's a super smeary ski, especially in softer snow in the woods. It likes to cut through that stuff rather than stay on top, which I think is a testament to just the performance of the carbon that we see in here, and just takes it and puts it on the next level. Nice turn, 16.4 meters here in the 177, kind of on the short side. And if you can access it, it's just an absolute blast to carve across the fall line. And that's kind of where the intended audience comes into play, because as a heavier skier at 225 pounds, I can flex this ski, whereas someone who's lighter, 60 pounds lighter, is going to have a more difficult time. If that skier is comfortable making shallower edge angle turns using more of a skidding technique, and they like the lightweight and the responsive nature of this ski, then that's a win. If that person wants to get this thing up on edge and carve it across the fall line, they might not have just the strength or power to make it do that because it is so stiff. And that's kind of where that chatter comes in. But a heavier skier is able to access that side cut. So I find a lot of positives in this build, which is pretty interesting. But great ski. I'm psyched that I added it for myself last year. Put a bunch of days on it, had a blast. Just absolutely kills it when it comes to maneuverability and agility. Make sure you check out this Core 93 here at skiessentials.com, and we'll see you out there on the hill. Bye.